Hey guys! Today we're going to learn about how reading is thinking. So when you read, you don't just read the words, you also think about what you're reading, and that's what good readers do to help their brains grow and to help them understand what they're reading more. So I want to show you some examples of ways that we can think about our reading. I want you to go grab your reading journal right now, and if you don't have it, pause this video. Once you have it in front of you, I'm going to turn my camera over so you can see my journal. Okay. Everything I write, I want you to write too. Make sure to leave just as much space in your journal that I leave in mine because we're going to be using this all week long. We're going to use some sticky note codes. This is called my sticky note codes. I'm going to teach you some different examples of ways that you can think about reading. When we think about reading, one thing we can do is make a prediction. Go ahead and draw this in your journal. Draw a square, draw the letter P, and write prediction right here. If I'm going too fast for you, you can pause the video whenever you need to. Leave all this other open space here and here because we're going to use this page in our journal for the rest of this week. And if you run out of space, you can turn to another side. I'm sure you've heard the word prediction used before. Prediction just means a guess that you make, but it's not a random silly guess. It's an educated guess. So you might predict something that's going to come next in the story or something that you think might happen. And the great thing about predictions is it's okay if they're wrong as long as they make sense. So one type of thinking about our reading is making predictions. Another way we can think about our reading is stopping when we find something that's really important. Right? This is important. If there's something that you realize, oh my gosh, this is so important, this is something that I needed to know, you can write it with an exclamation point at the top. And the last one we're going to talk about today is a star, and that star means I learned something new. So sometimes in nonfiction, you're definitely going to learn new things. Not always in fiction, but sometimes in fiction, you'll learn new things too. Pause this video if you need to. Take these notes in your journal just like me. After you've done that, you're going to watch me read a story to us. We're going to read a story today called The Train to Somewhere. As I read Train to Somewhere, I'm going to do all three of these sticky note codes. I'm going to make predictions. I might find out what's important. I might not. It depends. You're not always going to find those on every page you read. And hopefully, I will learn something new. If that happens, I'll stop. I'll get out my sticky note, write it down, and put it in my journal. So listen along with me as I read Train to Somewhere. From the mid-1850s to the late 1920s, an estimated 100,000 homeless children were sent by train from New York City to small towns and farms in the Midwest. Wow, you guys, that is something new that I did not know. In the 1850s to the 1920s, 100,000 homeless children were sent by train from New York City to the West. Because that was something new that I learned, on my sticky note, I'm going to draw a star and I'm going to write that thinking. Now, look at my journal again. On a new piece of paper in my journal, I wrote the name of the book that I'm reading, Train to Somewhere. And I'm going to stick my sticky note in right there. If you don't have sticky notes at your house, no big deal. Just draw a square. See, I drew a star, which means I learned something new, and then I drew my fact. So now as you see me stick different sticky notes in my journal, you'll understand what I'm doing. You'll know what I'm putting in there. Okay, so that's something new that I learned. Let's keep reading. Let's see if I find any predictions or find anything that's important. Okay. Charles Loring Brace of the Children's Aid Society hoped to place them with caring families. Oh, okay, that's good. So I think that might be important. I think it's important that the orphans were being sent west to get new families. They weren't just being sent west to work or to play or because they need to get rid of them. It's important to know they got sent west because they were going to get new families. So I'm going to stick that sticky note in my journal. I drew my exclamation point, which means that's important. Let's keep going. Some of the children did well, some did not. Some exchanged one kind of misery for another. Some found security and even love. This is the story of 14 orphan children going west, dreaming of a better life. The orphan train itself is real. The route it takes and the place names are fictional. The town of somewhere exists only on the map of the author's imagination. So there's a town called Somewhere in this story. That town isn't real, but the events that are happening are real and really did happen. That's really cool. Okay, let's get into our story. That was all nonfiction. That was all just an introduction telling me about what I'm going to read. I don't have anything I'm predicting yet, but let's keep reading. Remember, I'm trying to predict, say something new that I learned, or find things that are important. Let's keep going. This is our train, Marianne, Miss Randolph says, and Nora clutches at my hand. A conductor comes along the platform. Are these the orphans, ma'am? He asks. Miss Randolph stands very straight. 14 of them. We put on a special coach for you at the back, the conductor says. The big boys carried the trunks, and we take the rest of the bundles. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction about these orphans. I know earlier it said that some did well and some did not, and now I'm hearing about these orphans. I'm starting to think, here's a prediction. I don't think all the orphans will get adopted in the New West. I'm going to stick that in my journal. Let's keep going. You might be predicting something different. That's okay. Make predictions. Think of things you're learning that are new and things that are important along with me, just like you would if you were in class. Miss Randolph brings the emergency bag. Ooh. This past week, I watched her pack it with washcloths, medicine, and larkspur in case there are some stowaway fleas. None of us from St. Christopher's has any, of course, but those from the other homes and from the streets might. Uh-oh, she packed an emergency bag with medicine. I think I'm going to predict maybe that these orphans are going to have to use the emergency bag because somebody might get hurt. I don't know if that's true, but it's a prediction that I think might happen. So I put a P, I wrote my prediction, and I stuck it in my journal. Let's keep going. Going for a placing out, are you? The conductor asks Nora. My, you look nice. Thank you, Nora says. She's only 5, but at St. Christopher's, they teach us manners early. Good luck, he says to me. I hear there are still a lot of people in the New West wanting children to adopt. Yes, indeed, Miss Randolph says. We're not seeing as many going this year as last, though, the conductor adds. 1877 was a peak year for orphans. We go aboard. There's all the orphans. Let's keep going. The train seats are hard. I let Nora sit by the window. We can see ourselves reflected in its dirty glass. She's wearing her new blue coat with the shiny buttons. Her hair twirls in bright ringlets under her bonnet. I can see my own long, thin face. I'm not pretty. I know Nora will be one of the first ones taken. Marianne? She's got my hand. Will they believe we're sisters? We don't look a bit alike. I couldn't bear it if they split us up. Oh, they're sisters. Let's not go with, shh, I whisper. Split them up. Oh, no. But Miss Randolph has heard. What's this, she asks. It won't work pretending to be sisters. They're not really sisters. They're just friends. Okay. Her voice softens. Girls, listen. Most of the people will only want one child. Don't spoil it for each other. So imagine you and your best friend are going on a train west. An orphan is a child that doesn't have a home. So these girls don't have families, and they're hoping to get chosen by the same family together. But Miss Randolph is saying most people only want one child. I'm going to make a sad prediction. I think Marianne and Nora are going to get split up. I don't think they're going to end up together. I hope that prediction is wrong, but that's my prediction. I'm going to stick that in my journal. Okay. I hope that prediction doesn't come true. Let's keep reading. It's all right, I tell myself. I slide my fingers into my pocket and touch the softness of the feather. She'll be there. She'll want me. I wonder who she is. I wonder who Marianne's talking about when she says she. She'll be there. She'll want me. The train's moving. We're gliding fast and smooth past freight yards, past tenements with washing strung on lines, past warehouses. Then we're in the country, and there are trees. Trees with apples hanging on them. I knew this was the way apples grew, but I'd never seen such a thing before. Miss Randolph has me and another big girl, Jean, hold up a blanket to separate the boys from the girls. She opens one of the trunks and gives us our old clothes. We're going to change. We don't want you to look messy at the first stop, she says. She holds the blanket for Jean and me. We fold our new clothes and put them back into the trunk. After a while, we make sandwiches from the loaves and fillings Miss Randolph has brought, and we have thick milk out of a can. Ooh. When it gets dark, we sleep, sitting up, leaning against one another. Man, guys, this sounds hard. The wheels mumble all night long. Clickety-clack, clickety-clee. I'm coming for Mama. Wait for me. I'm coming for Mama. I wonder if that's who Marianne's thinking about. When she, in the last page, when she said she'll be there, she'll want me, she says, I'm coming, Mama. Wait for me. She must have gotten separated from her mom, and she's hoping to find her along the way. At Chicago, we carry everything out and change trains. Then we're on our way again. There's the kids changing their clothes on the train. Not much space on there, is there? This is the last page we're going to read. Days and nights have passed since we left New York. Now there's nothing to see outside but grass everywhere, rolling into the distance. Great Plains, Miss Randolph tells us. She shows us in the atlas she's brought. Miss Randolph has made this trip with the other orphans other times. She says that now we should change back into our new clothes. Not long after we hear the call, Porterville, Illinois. This is our first stop. The town of Somewhere, Iowa will be our last. Remember, this story is called Train to Somewhere, and it's Somewhere, Iowa is the last stop, so that must be where the train's going. A crowd is waiting on the little platform. Cor blimey, Zachary Cummings breathes when he sees so many people. Zachary came to New York on a boat from Liverpool, England with his father, and then his father left him. Zachary has a funny way of saying things. He's the first one out behind Miss Randolph. There's a gentleman with a big box on camera legs. There are horses and wagons and dogs barking. I can see right away that my mother isn't there. Ding, now we know she's looking for Mom. She probably went farther west, farther than this. I'm going to make another sad prediction, guys. I don't think Marianne will find her mother. I think Marianne will never find her mother. I'm going to stick that in there. Let me show you that last page. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger there, and we will continue reading this story tomorrow and make more sticky note codes. But now you can see, as I read, I learned something new, I found something important, and I made lots of predictions. So I used my sticky note codes that I talked about today to help guide my thinking as I read. Did you see how as I was reading, I wasn't just reading and reading and reading. I stopped to think and talk about what I was reading. This reading, if you want to do it out loud, you can, but sometimes it's just going to happen up in your head. I just did it out loud for you to see an example for me. So now what I want you to go do today is to go read a book, whether it's a book from home, it's a book on Get Epic, you're going to read. And as you read, I want you to make sticky notes in your journal using the 3 types of sticky note codes that we learned today. The star for I learned something new, the exclamation point for this is important, and the P for prediction. I say you should have at least, how many did I have there? 6. I say you should have at least 6 sticky notes like I did. Now, I didn't just go star, exclamation point, prediction, star, exclamation point, prediction. You might not even learn something new today. You might not even find something important. Just have 6 sticky notes that has at least one of these, if not all 3. Try to find all 3 if you can. If you have more than 6 sticky notes, that's fine. If you don't have sticky notes, remember, you can just draw a box and write inside the box what you would do. But make sure to use those sticky note codes. I hope you enjoy reading today, and I hope you learn lots of new things and think about your reading. Have a great day.